changes that have to be made. Because when I was single, I would play baseball and football all year round. I played baseball from spring all the way until September, and then I go to football. And I play football from September all the way to December. And then I had 2 months off, and I worked at the base restaurant, the bowling alley. I used to cook up spares and strikes and all that stuff and throw the pizzas together. And then from that, then I go start back to March. We started back to spring training. I was back into baseball and back into football in the wintertime. That's all I did. That was my life. That's what I look forward to. But when this person came into my life, I had to make changes. Because I couldn't just go on doing that and ignoring this person that I said I wanted to be in my life. How do you ignore that person? You got to incorporate them into your life. So guess what? Less and less time is spent to the other things that you used to be a part of. That's why I can't understand folks that say that they love this individual and they still hanging out with the boys. Or they still run the street with the girls. I'm like, something's wrong with that. You say you love this person and you want to enter into a covenant relationship with them, but yet you can't be home. I don't just want to stay at home. Why are you getting married? Don't you want to spend time with this individual? Then there has to be sacrifices. There has to be things that change. And marriage changes you. And this is instituted by God and by the church. And the sanctity of marriage is one of the other things that we're going to deal with. Because marriage is sanctified. Marriage has a sanctification component with it. We've talked about it before in 1 Corinthians 7. We're going to bring it out even more. That marriage has a sanctification component to it. And it's through marriage that that's built up, that that's enhanced, that that's fortified. And that's why I can't see people who 20, 25, 30 years later are tired of the person that they're with. Really? Then you don't understand covenant relationship. Because if God got tired of you after 5 years, I'm tired of this person praying to me, asking me for all this mess, junk, and garbage, always want me to help them in situations, asking me for the strength and everything. I'm just tired of him. Suppose he did that. He just walked away after 5 years. But yet, that's what we do. I'm bored with this person. Really? Then we didn't think about this before we entered into marriage. We didn't think about this individual and what it was going to take for us to become one. Because that's the purpose of marriage. That these two should become one. And if we don't look at the institution of marriage as being established by God in order to bring a man and a woman, let me put it on the record today. Let me state it for the record. A man and a woman. I want to make sure that when you post that, it goes out. God put together a man and a woman. Not Adam and Steve. Not Adama and Eve. No. It was Adam and Eve. A man and a woman. He put the two of them together. These two shall be one. And that was the creation in which God had set forth and said, be fruitful and multiply. In that setting. In that setting. Not before, because that's called fornication. Not during, because that's called adultery. In that setting, a man and a woman become one. The Bible said Abraham knew his wife. Now you need to go back and look at the word knew. And we're going to look at that because it has a connotation with it. And it's not just a physical connotation, which people just always think about. No, it has a deeper connotation to it, based upon the word knew. There was more to it. We get into the word soulmate. That's my soulmate, really. Is soulmate biblical? We're going to look at that. That's why I said this is just the introduction. We're going to look at that. Is soulmate biblical? We're going to see. Does it have a foundation? What is it all about? What is marriage? Why is marriage? Why are we losing marriage so much? Why is marriage going down the tubes? People would choose to live together rather than be married. Even people advocate that. Parents advocate that to their children. Live with them for a couple of years. Get to know them. And then y'all get married. Really? That's biblical. That's not Christ. It's not biblical. It's not the word. But yet, people do. People advocate that. Some people push that out there. That it's good for you. So we're going to talk about this. Based upon the Bible, what is marriage all about? And why is the church losing the marriage battle? What are we doing? Or what are we not doing? Because that's a part of the church. Marriage. That's a vital part of the church. Because it's through married couples that the church functions, that the church grows. Because those married couples are examples to those that are not married. And they give them solidarity and strength to show them what marriage is all about. And by that example, now they enter into that covenant, understanding what they've just seen over these number of years. It is an institutional part of the church of how marriage works. And it's an intricate part of the body of marriage. Because it's through that union, fruitful and multiply. And when they bring forth, now they grow up the next generation that comes through the church. So it's vitally, vitally important that we deal with this subject of marriage. A man and a woman becoming one in the eyes of the Lord. When does marriage take place? When he puts a ring on your finger and says, will you marry me? And you say yes, does that constitute marriage? Or when you stand before the minister or before the justice of the peace, then are you married? When does marriage take place? Because some people, as my pastor overseas used to tell us when I was at that time contemplating marriage, he said, don't go fishing without a license. Our first message he preached to me. He said, don't go fishing without a license. Because if you go fishing and you don't have a license, they're going to fine you. You get on some of these bridges or some of these little streams and you don't have a license and the warden is going by, they can fine you because you're fishing. You don't have a license. You're in an unauthorized place. I know Willie was telling us about some places and he said we had to get licenses. We wanted to take all the men with us. We had to make sure everybody had a license and everything else like that, or else we would be illegal and the warden could come and we could be in some serious trouble. He said, don't go fishing without a license. He tied that into marriage. Don't go fishing without a license. You can get in trouble. Have to be careful. have to be very